We're post-holiday break. We're back. Good to see you, Senator Scott Brown. Did you have fun over the hour?
I will say that you guys are a lot of fun, really. I enjoy it tremendously. Whenever I'm out and about or at the gym working out, I'm always watching you guys. I have a lot of friends that tune in specifically to see you guys.
Aww.
A lot of fun. They love the fact that, you know, it's not all serious. You can crack some jokes and kind of laugh at yourselves and have some fun. But also, you know, when you're hitting an issue, you're like Kennedy. I mean, you're just hitting it hard, and that's people
No, she hits it like too hard sometimes. You're just like, whoa, Kennedy.
People appreciate it.
Some of our viewers are watching us on Facebook Live right now. This is a new thing. We're not even a week old yet, so thank you to all of you. Let's see. Toady Shelley
Hopefully they're reacting to Kennedy's comments on Snowden.
Toady Shelley says, how this good-looking man lost to, I might have added the good-looking part myself, to Elizabeth Warren in Massachusetts is beyond me. The voters must be crazy. I mean, well, look at his picture there.
Amazing.
I mean, what were you doing here? Was that like a photo op?
No, it was just,
like,
my cousin took that, actually.
Really?
Just a regular, you know,
You just have great angle.
Toady Shelley likes you a lot.
And then
I'm going to check over
$125 million later. That's what happens, you know.
on the live chat as well.
Come on there. You got a friendly bunch here.
Yeah, we do have a friendly. The Guardian.
They're all worked up about
Snowden
Holder and
put
Snowden.
a stamp on it to say "Up Yours, America." DWL Bach. That's somebody who's talking about the fact that Eric Holder, our former Attorney General, is now softening his language with regard to Edward Snowden. That was a topic during the TV version of Us Kennedy felt very strongly about. Your thoughts to that, if you want to respond to it?
I will say that I recognize that I hold the minority view of a lot of my coworkers here, and that's okay. I mean, there are some things that we all get very passionate about, and this is one of those things that I will continue to hammer home how important it is to keep an eye on your government, that we need to respect the Constitution, the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, even the Third Amendment, the unsung amendment about quartering soldiers. I do think that this is one of those things that I will continue to go back and debate over with love.
Minority view. I'm a fan of diversity.
You've been great. You've been great on those issues. I watch you regularly, and I think you're spot on. And those are conversations that I and others have had with Rand, with obviously Ted Cruz, with Mike Lee, and a lot of the Tea Party, real social and hardcore constitutional conservatives.
And this speaks to a lot of your colleagues, and certainly in your wheelhouse. The Senate is debating a provision right now in the intelligence bill that would allow the FBI to basically gather emails and your web history unwarranted. And it's not a conversation that's happening in public. And the only person on the committee who voted no is Ron Wyden. And he happens to be a Democrat from my home state of Oregon, but he's also very good on these privacy issues.
Two things. I want to get something off the live chat again. Lee1307 says Snowden wants to come back to the U.S., so he's not going to jeopardize it. Kennedy and I went back and forth about all the extra information that he has yet to release. We don't know whether or not he's told the Russians about that, was my point. Your point is we haven't seen it public yet, which is true. But, when you make the argument of being snooped on as Americans, is it about the actual snooping or what could be found? Because, I don't really have anything in my emails that... they can look at me. I don't care. I mean, my dad's ex-military. He assumes that everybody's looking at him anyway. So,
I think that's kind of the point, right? I mean, I totally respect where you're coming from, Kennedy, and I feel you, and I hold the Constitution near and dear to my heart. I just think it's feigned. It's feigned at this point. I think that the notion of privacy in which we used to regard it, we just don't anymore. I really feel like we've already forfeited in every way that matters. And so I guess maybe I've given up on it a bit.
I don't think that we should give up. I absolutely don't think we should give up. I think it's a fight worth having. And the argument that I'm not doing anything wrong, therefore I have nothing to hide, therefore go ahead and spy on me.
That's not the point.
But that's the point that Harris is making is there's nothing for me to hide my emails. Go ahead and look at them. Well, that's not the point of having a constitution in the first place. I'm not going to run into the streets and proclaim my love for ISIS, but that is constitutionally protected speech. There are a lot of things that I disagree with that because of this document, we still have freedoms and protections, including the right to privacy in this country.
And I just think we've so far pierced that veil and that right to privacy to the point where now it doesn't mean... I don't think it means that much to us.
I have to disagree with you a little bit, and I agree with Kennedy. I think the Constitution is very important. We need to protect our rights, and it's not just lip service for many people. You look at what a lot of senators are trying to do right now. They're trying to do away with the Second Amendment. They're trying to do away with the First Amendment, modify it. So you chip away, and then the next thing you know, here we are. We have no rights and privileges, and our privacy rights are gone. Listen, I don't mind. I'm fully vetted, okay? Out of anybody probably running for anything right now, I've been the most vetted person. That's cool, but I want to be able to strike. We vetted
you before you came on the show.
Thank you. I want to strike. I want the government to strike a balance between protecting my rights and also getting the information to keep us safe and secure.
So
that's the challenge.
Yeah. Here's the question that I would ask someone like you, Kennedy, or maybe even people who feel even more visceral about it, like they shouldn't look at anything, even with a warrant. They shouldn't have. I mean, there are people.
But that's
who just
what a warrant is for.
Exactly. But there are people who will even argue that that's not good enough because a judge can draw up that warrant based on inequities
probable cause.
in evidence.
Oh my
right,
gosh.
yeah, okay.
Well, no, but that's why we have.
Say to that person who feels that way when there's imminent danger to catch a terrorist out there and they need to look at everything.
It's the balance.
I see it the same way because, wait, let me finish.
Yeah.
I see it the same way because our enemy has put together videos that say that they're coming after us. So I already see us in imminent danger from these bloodthirsty savages. And if you want to go through my emails, my text messages, you will find out how much I love my husband, what recipes for sweet potato pie I might have. I don't really care. Just go get the bad
but here's the problem. So there are so many people that have sweet potato pie recipes and spousal love and yoga videos on their devices. And think of all the hundreds of millions of people in this country. And think of all the emails you would have to go through and the number of people that it would require for you to go through everything. It's impossible. And that's how you lose track of people like the terrorists in San Bernardino. These are really bad people who left a trail before they perpetrated this murder against innocent people who worked with them, who showered them with love and gifts.
What's your point about this?
I think I just want to jump in real quick here, Harris. I think you make a very good point that I don't think we've decided as a country how much of our privacy rights we are willing to sacrifice in order to have the overarching protections of American safety. And until we get clear on how much we are willing to sacrifice, I think this is going to be a never-ending conversation.
For instance, Senator, I'm wondering if on Capitol Hill they're having the type of discussion that says, you know what, if there's an authorization of war in a certain nation, and we know that we could potentially be under attack at home, that there are different rules that are written about these things. And when it's peacetime, then we go back to the way Kennedy wants it. I mean, I just would give up everything to not have another San Bernardino happen.
Everything is kind
you would give up everything? You would give up everything. We're
talking about emails and text messages.
Everything
is my metadata.
What country are we living in if we're willing to give up everything?
Some people feel like
it's her right to compromise the information that she has. Right. It is not the right of the government to reach into your home or your car or your smartphone without a warrant. That is not their right.
But we have not decided collectively how much we are willing to sacrifice.
So, but my point, too, is that, my dad doesn't do anything except for write stuff down, which I used to think was kind of kooky. Like, why hence
the falsehood of that.
Why do you not leave a voicemail ever? And he says because there's no trace on it if I put it in my pocket and it's on a piece of paper. Right. So when I really want to keep something to myself, first of all, I don't tell anybody. Because if you tell one person, it's not yourself anymore.
You can't put the toothpaste back in the cat.
No, and I just write it down and keep it to myself.
Yeah. Okay.
If I have to.
Yeah, amen.
Wow, what are you talking about?
So, but I mean.
So what are you hiding, Harris?
Well, you never know. But I don't know. But I think Eboni's right. We just have to have a conversation about where we are. There's got to be a middle ground here.
Listen, we're upside down right now. Everything's kind of topsy-turvy because we're getting threats from all over the place, inside and outside of the country. So Americans, regular folks are saying, oh, my gosh, I just want my kids to be able to go to the mall and come home safely or go on a flight and not be blown up. So they're willing to compromise or maybe sacrifice a little bit more to get that safety and security.
Yes.
It's our role, people like you and others, to actually keep questioning and challenging the government to do it right, to get those warrants, to not get lazy, not cut corners. So I think, you both
but the very people who say that we need to compromise our privacy and our freedom in order to be safe are the same ones who bitch about 3-hour lines at the airport with the TSA because that's the government response. And guess what the government is not doing? The government is not not keeping you any safer when the TSA is failing 95%
When you look
of,
at the
of
TSA,
dummy
that's
checks.
like
I mean,
we can have
that is the government response
Yeah,
to an
listen,
aviation crisis from 2002 on. That is the consolidation of power. And that is what happens when these bumbling bureaucracies get so big, they actually are no longer capable of doing their job.
And that's true.
I don't want
Kennedy,
the TSA running my life.
There have also been several attacks that have been thwarted from the intelligence and information we have gathered from our intelligence operations. And that's true.
Wow.
Right.
This
On that note,
continued, right?
What a good show.
Well, it was good to have you.
All right.
Good to see you all. Really.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I know you have a lot
Thank you,
coming up,
Sandra.
so we're
Lots
glad that you
coming
stopped
up.
by. Come
Yep,
back
all
soon.
good. Please.
We will see you back tomorrow for the TV version of us on the Fox News channel at noon Eastern.